Okay, it's Sunday, January 29th, and January is almost over. Temperature blanket is going to start really growing because we're in the middle of this week. We are moving into February, and if the weatherman's forecast is correct, we are going to get to introduce some new colors. For this week, we had two people share their projects, their temperature blankets with us. And first up is Adrienne. She is in British Columbia, Canada. She's using a 4-weight Caron Simply Soft. And at the time of her picture, she's 1 week behind. So she's getting to start off with some really gorgeous blues. So Adrienne, thank you so much for sharing with us. And the next person is Saga. She is in Warwickshire, hopefully I said that right, England. This is so cool. So now we have 2 other countries that are sharing with us. This is like major cool. So she is in Warwickshire, England, and her blanket is complete through January 26th. She is using the daily average temperatures in Celsius, centigrade, Celsius. She updates every Sunday on her own vlog, Spinning Saga. And I just love her color choices. Thank you, Adrienne and Saga, for sharing with us. This is really fun. I love the shares. So if you want to share your project, I'll float my email in here somewhere. You can just shoot me a picture, give me a tiny little bit of information that you're willing to share, and I will be thrilled to death to share your temperature blankets with everybody. So, yeah. And those who have already shared with us, keep sharing as your blanket grows, because we'd love to see how all the new colors get introduced and everything. So, yeah, that would be like super great. All right, so for my temperature blanket, we got to use pretty much the same colors, but in different order. We had this week temperature ranges going from 63 degrees to 80 degrees. So that's like four color changes. So we went 78, 68, 77, 80, 63, 65, 68. So it was all over the place. And this upcoming forecast is supposed to get even warmer, so we're going to see another color come in. Maybe, if the weatherman didn't lie. So, first we'll show where we're at. And try not to pull my stitch out because I'm still attached, because you don't know what is going to happen. So this is 28 days of January. I think it's looking pretty cool. And here is your side-by-side comparison. Okay, so here we are side by side. This is current year. This is birth year. And huge differences already. This past week, we actually dropped into some lower temperatures, so we got back into our greens. Still no blue this year. And blue is my coldest temperatures. But the exciting part is we are almost finished with January. And in the middle of this week, we start on February. So we'll get to see both sides of these grow, because I jumped the gun and did a whole month of my birth year, and then working on this weekly, it'll just be a whole lot more interesting to see both sides grow at the same time. But we're almost there, midweek. And if the forecast follows through, we're going to get to introduce a new color this week. But you know how it is with the weatherman. Just can't trust them that much. But look at the difference of this. The yellows and the yellow shades here, the sunflower, egg yolk, and curry. Those are a little bit warmer. The greens are cooler, and of course the blue is colder. But just the difference in how much warmer weather than over here. But I'm actually liking how this one's turning out right now, so far. We'll see. So the new color that might get introduced this week, if the weatherman's forecast holds up, you know how that goes, will be cognac. So we'll see. So again, the stitch that I'm using for January, I still haven't decided if February is going to change up. I guess I better make up my mind soon. That's only a few days away. But it is an open mesh stitch. It is 2 single crochets and a chain stitch. And this is how I do that. I do 2 single crochets, chain 1, 2 single crochets, and the 2 single crochets go into the chain 1 space of the previous row, which is what makes it remind me of a granny stitch, but a mini granny stitch. So if you take it and you're just looking at it like this, it doesn't look like a mesh. But if you actually stretch it, oh my goodness. If you actually stretch it a little bit, you can see the mesh going on. So I would imagine, because the sides are growing, that this will need some blocking to make it look right, and then that nice mesh stitch is going to show up. And the sides are growing because of working in all the ends. So if I wasn't sewing if I wasn't stitching the 2 sides together, birth year versus current year, then I probably would have just left a fringe or did one of those enclosed borders around it. And that would have been a lot less distortion on the blanket itself. So I'm hoping it doesn't get too bad, because pretty soon here we're going to get into where day after day after day is going to be in the same temperature range, and there won't be so many color changes. We'll get more blocks of, more rows in a block of a single color. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so hopefully well, not hopefully, because I kind of like the color changes, but maybe we'll get little thicker blocks, like 3 or 4 rows of a color, and then before we change to another color, and that'll make it a lot less ends to work in. Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully. But I am looking forward to February, because we're going to get to see both sides of the blanket grow at the same time, because originally my plan was to do monthly updates, but you guys voted for weekly updates, which holds me accountable to stay on top of the game and not fall behind on my blanket, which is much appreciated, because I have so many other things that I'm working on or I want to work on. While I'm working on one thing, something else pops into mind. It's like, oop, stop this. Let me start that and try it. So yeah, that's kind of like Crochet DD. And I want to finish some projects. I did finish one this week. If you saw my video yesterday, I finished that sweater. So that's one off the table. And so currently in the works, I have the mosaic blanket I'm working on. And I have the Tote cardie that I'm working on that I haven't touched all week because I was playing around with the mosaic. And then I have this other project that I just ordered yarn for. I want to start that. Plus I signed up to be the pattern tester for someone. And so I'll have that to do. So yeah, I need to get a couple of these off the table so that I'm freed up for these other things. I don't know. It's fun. And if you get bored with one, you just work on the other. And it just makes things interesting. So yeah. Plus, I really want my hands to not hurt doing the amigurumi, because I really want to make some of those. They are so cute, especially the ones that you can dress up in the little clothes and make little accessories for them. Just, oh, it makes my hands ache so bad. You know, I don't know, because I've made one. I showed you guys that. And am I doing it too tight? Is that why it makes my hands hurt? Because I forget who I was watching, and they said, if your yarn calls for a 5mm hook, you drop down 2 sizes, so you'd use a 3. So right there, that's a struggle, working with the thicker yarn with the smaller hook, and then do it tight. So am I trying to do it too tight? Is that my problem? I don't know, but I'm going to figure that out, because those things are so cute, and I want to be able to make some of those. Anyhow, temperature blanket update accountability video is complete, and I thank you guys so much for tagging along, and don't forget to share yours. For the next project that YouTube and I think you might be interested in, you can click right here.